Yo, what's good, man? It's your boy E. King. Today we're doing a reaction video to the prison in Missouri, labeled as one of the most notorious, dangerous, toughest prisons in America, NECC, Missouri. So we're gonna go ahead and check that out, all right, fam? We're gonna see if it is one of the most dangerous prisons. We'll check it out. I guess I'm gonna give my 2 cents.
Ends up here at the Northeast Correctional Center in Bowling Green, or NECC for short. The Level 2 prison is surrounded by a deadly electric fence. It is embedded in a deterrent wall of barbed wire. The justice system in Missouri is traditionally conservative. People are often locked away for decades. 1,550 prisoners are incarcerated here. At night, 2 men sleep in a cramped cell. During the day, 16 men share this shower. Behind bars at the Northeast Correctional Center in Missouri. It is early morning. While most of the prisoners are still in their cells, a prisoner transporter rolls through the security gate. Statistically speaking, many prisoners often use such transportation to try to escape. But here, an escape is virtually impossible. Three prisoners on this bus are specially guarded, with handcuffs, leg shackles, and chains. They only take a few steps before the next security gate opens for them. The men have been on the road for 12 hours. They're scared and tired. The biggest security risk they pose is weapons or drugs on or in their bodies. In its defense, the NECC prison has the best body scanner in the world. This American-made scanner can spot both metallic and non-metallic objects, weapons, drugs.
All right, so check it. Throughout all my 12 years in prison, I've never seen a body scanner like that. And whenever the commentator said that's probably is the best security scanner or whatever in the world for prisons, I wouldn't doubt it. Because 90% of the time, I wouldn't say 90%, I would say maybe 60, because there's other ways to transport things to prison. But that's one thing, whenever people are locked up and they got phones and stuff, you know what I mean? Normally they try to sell them before they leave, but some people take them with them. Whatever, the whole point I'm getting at is the classic suitcase is the go-to move for a lot of guys in prison besides other means. But that right there, you ain't skating at all with that, at all.
Solid or liquid, outside or inside the body. Security check successful.
What's good, man? It's your boy E. King, and this is the Incarceration Podcast, where I talk about prison, pre, post, and present, how everything that I experienced throughout my incarceration has forever changed my life. This is the Incarceration.
All right, good afternoon. This is State of Florida versus Stephen Testo with multiple cases before the court.
Forever Convict family, listen, we are on a journey to 50,000 subs. We are over halfway there. So if you have not yet subscribed, please go ahead and do so. Share this channel with anybody who enjoys prison content. And if you don't know my story, I've done over 12 years in prison. And all throughout my incarceration on this channel, I share the crazy, funny, goofy, weird prison stories, as well as interviewing other convicts and sharing their stories as well. But most importantly, we highlight the redemptive stories of convicts coming home, leaving their past lifestyle of crime, and now living successfully in society.
A normal day behind the deadly electric fence. Here on the so-called B side of the prison, the first roll call of the day takes place every morning at 6 o'clock. After that, the inmates have breakfast, go through their routines, and carry out their respective tasks.
What's up, big blue bro? You doing all right? I see you got your hat on. Come on in here.
Stand out.
Come on in here with me. Yeah. Cuba, did you see we got the Krispy Kreme donuts over here now? Who the best wing in the camp? Yeah. There you go. All right, let's go to the spade table. Who whooping butt? Or what we say ass? What's the score, Bam?
A lot to
A little.
Going to 6, they about to lose.
Okay, can't get no set now. Can't get no set.
Carlos Ashcraft has been in prison since 2019. He takes care of all the little things, all the everyday needs of his fellow prisoners.
We got to learn the word of God. We can't live without it. Everybody doing all right? What y'all want to eat tonight? It's your choice. Pizza. If you be good, we'll make pizza. What's up, Matt? Maintenance is in the building. Maintenance is in the building. But he fixed everything.
Technically skilled occupants are repairing a faulty heating system. The fact that they are allowed to use screwdrivers is a sign of trust. Such potential stabbing weapons would be unthinkable in other prisons.
See, they gotta piece our stuff together with used parts. All used parts.
I grew up in a good, stable home, a little dysfunctional, you know, a lot of addictions, you know. I grew up in the north side of St. Louis, inner city, in the youth where a lot of crime was, a lot of drugs. But, you know, we had togetherness, we had family. I saw a lot of killings and a lot of assaults, a lot of rapes. That's how I became strong in what I do.
Wentzville, Missouri, almost exactly halfway between St. Louis and the prison. Ashley Brooks lives here with her husband, James, and their 3 children.
We're just getting the kids fed so they can get ready to go up to the lake with their grandma and grandpa to go ride the go-kart and do some fishing because we're on spring break, aren't we?
Ashley works at the NECC prison. James is a firefighter.
Typically I have an 8-hour day, but that's if everything goes right. So he always asks me before I leave, you know, what's today look like? And I always say I plan to be home by 5:15, but that's not always the case, you know. We're kind of in the business of dealing with humans and you can't predict human behavior. So if something goes wrong, we're kind of the ones that have to stay until it's fixed.
In both of our jobs, we always kind of remind each other to stay vigilant, you know, always have situational awareness is something we always talk about. Always be ready for the unexpected because you never know, you know, when something could go bad.
All right, can I have a smoochie? Can I have a smoochie? No? Stinker. Hey, Addie, I'm leaving.
Ashley Brooks is on her way to work at the Northeast Correctional Center.
I originally wanted to go into juvenile probation, and that is actually where my career started. And I quickly learned juveniles weren't for me. So my next step was coming here as a correctional officer, and then I promoted to a case manager. I was in that role for a couple years. It was a promotion to a functional unit manager, so kind of that person that oversees the entire housing unit, staff and offenders. And then about 8 months ago is when I promoted to my current role as deputy warden. And that is something that when I started 8 years ago with corrections, if you asked me if I would be in this role today, I would not at all believe you.
Every day begins with a meticulous security check, even for the deputy prison warden.
Good morning. How are you today? Doing good. Whew, a little cold.
Over 100 employees and guests come and go here every.
You unashamed about all that time you did? Go ahead and grab your Forever Convict tee, where we're unashamed to share how our incarceration is what God chose to use to radically transform our life. And even though society may deem us as convicts, I'm not ashamed of what God used throughout that season of incarceration to make me to be the man who I am today. Forever Convict. If you don't know, there's not much footage inside prisons. I'm sure if you enjoy prison content and what you're watching this, you obviously do. there is kind of quite a small selection of real footage inside prisons, and the reason being is because it's a security threat, and a lot of administrations and institutions just don't like having media access in their facilities. And I'm not trying to throw shade at any administration or any prisons, but just to be honest, it's not a perfect system, nor is any organization, but there definitely can be a lot of corrupt stuff in the department, as well as anywhere. But mainly I think for security purposes, so it's very rare to see inside footage of prison content. It's not super common. But the fact that they got a warden, not only to green light it, but she's like a key figure and character in this video, it's pretty cool. And I think that as prison reform continues, a lot of wardens and people in the higher up, they need to understand the importance of media and highlighting and humanizing the incarcerated populations to continue to propel into further prison reform. So I think that's pretty dope on her end, for sure.
Every day.
1 second. 1 second.
And anyone could be compromised. Anyone could be smuggling in drugs.
Other than what's in your pocket and on your wrist, you're clear.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
As deputy warden, she mainly has a desk job.
Thank you, thank you.
Nevertheless, Ashley Brooks generally spends a lot of time at the prison.
Hello world, wake me up to another good morning, time to go.
The Northeastern Correctional Center, or NECC, consists of 2 areas. The A side is for inmates with good behavior, and the B side. There are 5 houses on both sides, each with 4 wings. The prison is surrounded by a deadly electric fence that encompasses the entire site. The control center has an overview of the entire system. This is where radio communication and the locking systems come together centrally. The central building houses the medical facilities, kitchens, dining rooms, and workshops. Outside the prison grounds is the hall for the bloodhounds. Ashley Brooks is on the move on the A side.
We're heading to the recreation building. We have what we call CERT testing going on today. That is where members who would like to be a part of our emergency response team are able to come and test to see if they meet the physical standards that we require for them to be a part of that team.
The CERT team is the Rapid Response Force. Ashley Brooks was there herself for years during her time as a correctional officer.
You getting up there today? You have to get a certain score, and so there's different male and female requirements, and there's different age brackets with each one. So you have to at least score a 2 in every single category, and your overall score has to at least equal 15 points. Come on, you got 3 more at least. There you go. Come on, 2 more, 2 more, 2 more.
I also have a fire HBO style series chronologically going over my prison experience from day 1 all throughout my 12 years in prison. But you got to become a member to this channel. If you're on desktop, that's the only way you can do it. If you're on a mobile phone, you got to do it through Safari, or you got to go to your internet app and become a member. Check out a brief clip right here. It's not directly addressing me. It's not directly addressing anybody. He's just saying it loudly about all the new people. And we weren't the only new people who came in that day. There's people who came in before us. But I'm thinking still he's gonna be the one that tries me. So he goes and he sits down, and I'm sitting on the bench, and all of a sudden someone approaches me. I'm sitting on the outside of the bench and someone stands right
Mental
over.
strength. Everybody in here is physically in shape enough to do this test, and you know that because when there's a situation on the yard, these people are the first ones there that are responding. These are the people that are there to help you get people restrained or help there to break up fights. So it's more mental than anything. Come on, Lindsay. Come on. Hey, don't stop. Come on. Come on. Come on. Back in 2017, we had an officer who was severely assaulted here, and we went into an institutional lockdown, and CERT teams from all over different institutions came in to help us regain organization and get all the offenders locked down.
Come on, guys.
Then there's the final endurance run.
They have to do roughly a little over a half mile in 6 minutes, which isn't bad. It's just hard because you run around this gym, and so you just go in circles. You know, you do about 17 laps, and that's harder for me mentally than running from point A to point B, you know, running 17 times around something.
The team evidently overextended itself and is totally exhausted. Then an alarm sounds.
Who else is it? Laura, you sprayed him. What happened? Okay. Yeah.
The entire prison is sealed off. On the B side, Carlos Ashcraft and his fellow inmates are immediately taken to their cells.
They'll return. You gotta go lock down. God.
Where was he at?
We were walking around this
God
way.
damn, how did I already get in trouble?
And he,
Go for 03.
as soon as we got around here, Walker was behind and told him to stop. He wouldn't stop.
It was what's called a 10-5, which is an officer needs assistance. And so that's why everyone responded. It was right here on A Yard. And I'm not sure the details yet. I called the warden because he had called me on the radio because he saw that I was out there, so he wanted to see what's going on. It's kind of in your blood. When a 10-5's called and you're able to respond, you respond. You can't help that, you know. Here's our major now coming down to check on things. What we just saw here was people who completely exerted themselves testing for the test. They were on the ground trying to catch their breath and everything, and an emergency occurred out on the yard, and those same individuals who just gave all they had on the court here got up, ran out there, and responded and took care of that situation. So to me, you know, that shows their mental strength.
If the whole prison is an organism, then the control center is the brain. From here, you have an overview of almost everything. This is also where communication is centrally controlled. The staff here have to remain cool, especially when something goes crazy outside.
What happened with the 10-5 this morning?
Officer called for assistance, and we sent the assistance to help him out.
Good. Did it get it rectified pretty quickly?
Pretty quickly, we got it.
10-6 and under control. Good. Anybody hurt? Good. This is the compound that runs everything. They control every radio call we have. They are the ones that are listening for if there's an emergency situation going on, like a man down button, a 10-5, 1049. They're relaying all that information to us. So they're the nucleus of the cell here. They control all the movements. They release all the movements. And as you can see, they have a pretty good sight line of most of the yard of the institution.
There are also nearly 400 cameras here, spread all over the prison. They make everything and everyone highly visible. Another important safety feature, the deadly electric fence that surrounds the entire facility. Its status is also closely monitored by the employees in the control center.
The fence is definitely psychological for a lot of, I would say, our safety precautions here. For us, that's an extra peace of mind knowing we have that fence protecting the communities.
On the A side is the Dynamo House, perfectly visible from up here. The prison of the future, a wing without security staff. All the residents have been behaving in an exemplary manner for years.
My name is Michael Brian Whitfield. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. Grew up in south part of St. Louis, down by the Busch Stadium. I'm 60 years old as of March the 20th. And my belief, man, you know, is really just trying to make sure things are done correctly now at this point in my life. You know, I got to have a belief system that what I do now is about not serving me, but just trying to be gentle and kind to others now. But I do believe that, you know, times are going to change and things are going to get better.
This is a revolution for the conservative state of Missouri. Michael Whitfield has his own key to the prison gate. Such degrees of freedom only exist for the Dynamo community.
I've been walking this way here for over 20 years. You know, I've been used to work recreation right here at A-Side Rec. Then after leaving that job, I went to the warehouse for 9 years, which I've been there as of the present day. You know, so walking this walk through all different climates of weather, you know, it's a good long walk, but if I had to close my eyes and do it, man, I can get there. Just take a little while, you know, but I'm sure we can accomplish. You know, come to Missouri if you're looking for a change in the weather, you know, from 1 hour to the next. You're sure to find it, you know, right here in good old Missouri.
Michael walks from the A side to the B area, then enters the main building from the side. Michael was convicted of manslaughter and several robberies in 1993.
All right, good morning. I'm here. I'm gonna take them to the return freezer, show them how I pick up the food that was left from last night. Okay. Put it back on the shelf, then wait for my orders to pull the meal. So just to let you know, we're in the building.
Okay.
All right, appreciate it. These are meals that they cooked yesterday that they didn't use, so it'd have to be returned to stock. Every morning when I come into work, first thing I do is go to the freezer, see what was left behind from yesterday's meal, put them on the cart, and replace them on the shelf.
It's a tough job for a 6.
Funny thing is, I was actually my job for about 3 years in prison. I was at a certain institution, and the whole setup is different, but I worked in food service, but I was the butcher man. Obviously in prison, you don't got knives, you don't cut up the meat or nothing, but pretty much you work in the warehouse section of the food service, and you know, you got a deep freezer where they store all the food, the meat, and you know, pretty much just do inventory and prepare the food, you know, for, you know, each meal for each week, and just pretty much inventory stuff. But this is the first episode of this Missouri prison right here, so y'all stay tuned for part 2.